Your online reputation is like an invisible aesthetic. It's attached to your brand and it never stops working regardless of the economic climate. In times of economic uncertainty, the thing that people gravitate to is safety. How do I know that I can use your products and services and feel like my hard-earned dollars are going to be looked after?
This is the Business Owners Smashing It Online podcast for entrepreneurs and business owners looking for cool online tools, apps and strategies to make business easy online. My name is Nick Cree and I'm your host. Each episode features a guest expert demystifying the online universe, sharing inspirational ideas and providing tested real-world strategies to help you get the most of what's available online to grow your business today. Don't be a slave to your business. Get your business working for you. Subscribe now and get some great content and ideas for you and your business today. All right. Well, this now is the time that I get to relax, right? I sit back and learn. Well, actually, I won't be relaxing because I know that our speaker tonight, Karl Schwantes, has a ton of information for us tonight. He is newly back from the Digital Marketing Summit over in Orlando, Florida. Anyone that knows Ryan Dice, he is one of those marketing legends over there. Karl has been hanging out with him and a whole lot of other marketing legends over there as well too. And he's just got a whole Rolodex now of new contacts. Anyone use a Rolodex anymore? I think that's just a term, isn't it? You know, it's all on, Google Contacts or something now. So he's got a whole sort of book of Google Contacts now. So for those of you that don't know, Karl, he is that good-looking chap sitting in the screen there. Just go and find him. Yes, he's waving to us as well. And he is a customer experience expert. You may think, well, what is a customer experience expert? Well, I can tell you that. He is an international award-winning author. He's a Telstra Business Award finalist. And he's a winner of the Business Awards, My Business Awards 2020 for the best customer experience. What that means is people like him and his customers keep coming back to him. So he's got a really unique, uncanny eye for quality and uniqueness. How did he develop that? Well, he is the owner of Xenox Diamonds. And that is a family business. It's been running for 46 years. It is a second generation family business, but it's not the jewelry that is really important. Yes, it is important. And they craft some incredible pieces of jewelry, which for people's memories like weddings and anniversaries and 21sts and, those that have been married for 50 years and they've got I don't know even what that 50-year gemstone is, but I'm sure Karl knows what that one is. So they do make unique jewelry, but that's the product. But what really makes this business stand out is the customer experience. And the jewelry business really stands out above its competitors because they make their customers feel special and they create some phenomenal experiences with their clients. If you go and have a look at and read the Google reviews for Xenox Diamonds, you can see exactly what we're talking about. And you'll see there are sort of a ton of 5-star reviews there, people raving about the experience that they have with Xenox Diamonds. So it's probably more than that now, but when I last had a look, there are 946 5-star Google reviews. Who here has got more than 946 reviews on their profile, positive or negative? I don't. So he is well and truly experienced with that. He's got a great system on how to generate those reviews. And remember, these are 5-star reviews, not 3 or 4-star reviews. These are 5-star reviews. So because he did it so well in 2020, he launched a program sharing all of Xenox business secrets. So how do you create that customer experience? How did they get all those awards? How did they get all of those reviews? And really showing business owners how to craft a remarkable client experience that really generates those testimonials and Google reviews. That's not the end in itself. It really does drive leads and sales into their business, and it does it 24/7 because people are searching online sort of during day and night. And they do it all without spending any money on Google ads. I bet his competitors would want to know sort of a lot more about that. So I know there are jewelry shops out there that are spending a ton of money on Google ads, and they're expensive clicks as well too. So I'd like you to join with me. Let's give a virtual round of applause to welcome on stage Karl Schwantes.
Hey, thanks, Nick, and welcome to everybody online. This is very exciting. First time speaker, but many times listening from the audience. So it's exciting to be able to share this with you all. So let me just jump in there. Can everybody see my screen? Yes? Okay.
Yes.
Very cool. Okay, so there'll be plenty of time at the end for some Q&A, but there may also be times where I'll ask for some participant interaction. So don't be afraid to jump into the chat and type a few things in there. So today is all about building your online reputation that you can be proud of online in the next 90 days. And it can be as fast as that, which is the really exciting thing. So getting into it, again, as Nick sort of said, for those of you who don't know, I'm a Google business expert, and I help a lot of business owners with their profile optimization to have a top 1% on Google profile and really help them to promote their business using local SEO, which is the kind of the front end SEO. So for those in the web industry know about back end SEO with regards to links and citations, but my stuff is really more the front end. And also kind of this reputation marketing to really help you drive and develop reputation-driven revenue through your Google reviews. And one of the things that I love most is helping clients with the customer journey experience sort of stuff in the way that they can generate those 5-star reviews. So as Nick said, I'm going to kind of speak a little bit about the Xenox and where I came from and how that kind of evolved into the 5-star. Xenox is 46 years running, and everything was going really well. And I can kind of remember 2020, it was January, I was in Europe, and my family all lives in Berlin in Germany, and having some Glühwein over there, and hearing the news about this COVID thing. And I was thinking, oh, this is just another SARS thing, or another swine flu. It'll be over in a short period of time. Wow, how wrong was I? Coming back and finding that the government had banned weddings, which is pretty much what we did. So we lost 97% of our revenue overnight. And the worst part was there was no end in sight. Like, we just didn't know how long it was going to go for. All of our clients that were in our front end lead flow basically just stopped. The clients that we'd looked after and we'd completed their work, I guess, wanted to really hang on to their money because everybody was in that real state of fear. And I had suppliers on the other side saying, well, we need you to pay for the invoices for the things that you sold months prior. So it was a really tough jam, because I needed clients and I needed to find out where our clients were coming from. And I had to, we got somebody on there. Nick, would you mind muting everybody else for me? So what I found was I started looking to the numbers to where our clients were coming from, because if I could find out where our clients were coming from, that would be the first place that I would go to try and attract more of our clients. What I found was really shocking to me. I'd never really gone deep down into the numbers to find out where our clients were coming from. What I found was that in 2019, we'd had 173 sales, that's sales and not leads, that had come purely from our Google reviews, which translated into more than $1 million in top line revenue. And so I thought, wouldn't that be really interesting? But the big thing about it was that we hadn't spent a single dollar on ads to generate that revenue. And that's what kind of gave rise to the 5-star thing and just really trying to teach people how they can actually leverage their reputation to generate more clients. So Nick, this one was actually an old picture, but today it's 957 5-star Google reviews with a perfect ranking of 5 stars. And sometimes people say to me, like, how is that possible that you could have that many Google reviews with a perfect ranking? And the part of that is that we have an unrelenting passion to only deliver a 10 out of 10 client experience. We're not happy with 9 out of 10 or 8 out of 10, only 10 out of 10. But as I started going down this rabbit hole of, why is it that we are able to generate so many sales from our Google reviews, I found out that the profile and the reviews are all great, but only if they're optimized. And most people simply don't have an optimized profile. So if you can see on the right-hand panel there, where it says people often mention, if you want to find out what your Google reviews are ranking for, have a look at that. Because what Google is showing you there is what the keywords that are being ranked for in your Google reviews. So mine is engagement ring, which is pretty much exactly what I do. And it's the #1 keyword that shows up. Most people, when I look at their Google reviews, have words like felt or team. Now, while that's great, that isn't what your clients are typing into Google to find you. Okay. And also you can see there underneath that Google automatically sorts your reviews by most relevant and not by newest. So you got to make sure that your most relevant review is a great review. I often see people when I'm doing an audit on their profile, their most relevant review is not a great review, or it doesn't have photos or anything else, in that profile that can really help them get more traction for the keywords that they want. So there are two elements of what we're looking for here with Google Business. We're number one, looking for attraction. And the second thing we're looking for is conversion. So having your profile optimized for your keywords is really super important for attraction. And then when they get there, you want to make sure that you've got enough to help them with your conversion. So we're going to talk a little bit further about why your Google reviews are a must-have strategy, the 7 factors that you need to create an amazing online Google portfolio, how to increase your Google review reputation ratio, and why for me the Google review has the highest marketing ROI, and some of the best ways to recession-proof your business using your Google reviews. So one other thing, I believe as entrepreneurs, we're put on this earth not just to make money, because I think we do go into business for that, otherwise you probably wouldn't do it. We do go into business to also help our clients because we love adding value to them. But I also believe that we're put on this earth to make an impact. So earlier this year, I launched an initiative called the 10,000 Smiles campaign. And what that is that we believe that when we help one of our clients craft a remarkable client experience for their clients, something amazing happens to their face. They smile. And we thought, wouldn't it be really cool if the smile didn't have to end there? So every client that we work with, when we help them get a Google review, we actually donate 1 day of education to a young girl in the Philippines to help them pull themselves and their family out of poverty. Because we know, and there's plenty of researchers, that when you look after the young women, they look after the families and the communities. So, but I wanted to do even more. So I'm extending it for all of you for turning up today on this live Zoom session. We're going to donate a day of education for every one of you that have turned up here. So I'm on my way to getting to that 10,000 smiles, which is 10,000 days of education and obviously 10,000 Google reviews as well. So what business are you in? I want you to just type in the chat now quickly what business you think you're in. Now, people, when they asked me in the beginning, I used to think I'm in the jewelry business. Okay, we've got relationship coaching, marketing. But the interesting thing is that if you dig a little bit deeper and I go another level below that, sometimes people would say, well, I'm in the romance business because I make women and couples happy with beautiful diamonds and engagement rings. But the reality is that if you go another level lower than that, you realize that I'm in the experience business. So I'm giving clients an amazing experience that just so happens to be around jewelry. So when you think about your business, just have a think about how could you position your business to be an experience business in your industry. So how many of you have ever heard, just by show of hands, how many of you ever thought, I wonder where all the customers are? Like, I love what I do. I just want to do it with more clients. And that's something that I hear a lot with a lot of my clients. And the other thing that I'm hearing a lot these days is that people are worried about a recession coming. There's a lot of, news documented about it. And the thing is, your online reputation is like an invisible aesthetic. It's attached to your brand and it never stops working regardless of the economic climate. In times of economic uncertainty, the thing that people gravitate to is safety. How do I know that I can use your products and services and feel like my hard-earned dollars are going to be looked after? So focusing on your online reputation and building that now is what's really going to help you ride through some of the bumpy times that may be coming ahead. So this is sometimes a controversial one. A lack of revenue is not the problem in your business. A lack of reputation is. I'll say that again. A lack of revenue is not the problem in your business. A lack of reputation is. Okay? Because there are people out there, whether you're a lawyer, a cleaner, a chef, doctor, even a chauffeur, or you've got a coffee shop that are earning probably 3 times as much as you. They're not any better at what they do. They just have a reputation in the marketplace that dictates that that's what they're worth. My uncle always used to have this thing where he said to me, look, whatever you think you're worth, you're probably right. If you think you're worth $50 an hour, you're right. If you think that you're worth $200, then you're right. But having this reputation to back that up is a very critical tool in today's climate. A lot of times I'm with a client, it's like, well, you don't have to take my word for it. Just have a look at the Google reviews. And most people feel, okay, great. There's some safety there. I understand that, you've been in business for a long time, but the reviews is what's giving me the confidence to know that I feel that I'm in the right place. What I'm hoping is that by understanding how this marketing strategy works, that you can understand that in less than 10 minutes a day, you can generate 1 to 3 warm leads coming into your business every single week. But this is not about spending money on ads. I think Mark Zuckerberg has enough money. He doesn't need any more of ours. What I love about this reputation marketing is it's something that all of you can do for yourself. You don't need to spend, thousands of dollars on outsourced companies to do this for you. It's something that everybody can do. And it's oftentimes the thing that I say you should probably start with first, because ultimately I want you to make your leads come to you rather than going out there constantly looking for those leads. Now, I know we were talking before about some really cool marketing tools, but imagine if you had a marketing assistant that worked 24/7 in your business. They never took holidays or got sick. You didn't have to pay them any super or taxes, and you didn't even have to pay them a wage, and they got better every year. How many of you would like a digital marketing assistant like that working in your business? Okay. If everybody's hand isn't raised now, it should absolutely be. Okay. And that's what I've loved about this Google review portfolio side of things, is that I look at it like a digital marketing assistant out there banging the drum about my business 24/7. Now, for those of you who don't know what we're talking about when we talk about this Google business stuff, that right-hand panel that you see there is your Google business profile. And the way that you get there is by clicking on the 9 little dots in the top. And if you see that icon there, that's how you get into your Google business profile. If you can't find it that way, it just means that you have a different email address attached to your Google profile when you set it up. So you'll just need to find the right email to get there. So when we talk about Google business, there are so many things that you can do with your profile that most people have no idea about. But the biggest thing you need to work on is understanding what the keywords your customers are typing into Google. So once you've worked out how to do that, we teach you how to do things like your posting. How many of you knew that you could post on Google just like you do on LinkedIn or Facebook? Okay, most people didn't know that. The great thing about that, why I love that, is that everything you type in that post is keyword searchable. The back end of your Google business profile is got some really cool data, like how many people called you, how many people clicked through to your website. That's so much more user-friendly than the old Google Analytics. Having a keyword targeted bio is one of the things that you really need to update. And it's one of those things that's very commonly misdone. Now, if my bio started with Xenox Diamonds is a 46-year-old second generation family business, while that's true, I've got a secret for you. Nobody is searching for that online. Okay, so writing your bio like it's about you, like a corporate brochure, will not help you generate SEO traffic coming through to your website. So think about what your clients are typing in and write your bio from that perspective. Google loves photo. So having geo-tagged and keyword tagged photos is a really important way uploaded into your profile to let Google know that your footprint can be bigger than just an immediate 10K radius. Okay, so using this strategy will help Google send more clients to you from further away. Products and services. Even if you have a service-based business, the really cool thing about Google is that Google will let you turn those services and turn them into products and drive traffic through to your website to particular pages. But you have to have it set up right. So Google gives you the major categories, and then they give you the individual products that sit underneath those category buckets. So having that set up will also drive a lot more traffic through to your website. And then, of course, Google reviews, having them optimized for the keywords is incredibly important. So a good friend of ours, and I'm sure Colin wouldn't mind me sharing this, Nick, has an amazing portfolio, Inspire Realty. He's got a lot of Google reviews, but the problem was his profile wasn't optimized for all of the keywords and the things that he wanted to educate his prospective clients for. So it's really not about just having the most amount of reviews. There's actually a lot more that needs to happen in your profile to have you show up in the local search. So Sometimes clients come to me and they say, Karl, can you help me fix my profile? I've got no Google reviews and I just don't know where to get started. And then another group of people will say to me, look, I'm really worried about getting a 1-star review. How do I protect myself from maybe a competitor leaving a 1-star review, or maybe just a grumpy cat client that just for whatever reason doesn't like the fact that the coffee took 3 more minutes to make? And then the third group are the ones that want to dominate their market and make their competitors irrelevant. So just type in the chat for me, which group would you say that you most resonate with? Is it the fix? Is it the protect? Or is it the dominate? So Margarita, definitely dominate. You're in the right space. Fix, great. Thanks, Helen. Dominate, we've got some fix. Okay, great. Dominate, of course. Great. I really love that. What I love about that is that there's not really anyone choosing the protect. And the reason I love that is because this one is really a scarcity mindset. Whereas, focusing on building your online reputation and profile is really more of an abundance mindset. So why does this Google thing work? You have to understand, how does Google see us? Google sees us like ants. We're out there bumping into stuff, and Google wants to know what was it like. Now, whether you believe this or not, Google's not really monitoring everything we're saying or everything we're doing. Well, actually, they probably are. But for now, Google is still relying on us to put in data into their algorithm to help them customize the way that the search matches what the client's looking for. The way Google makes money is they keep people on their platform longer and clicking on their ads. So the way that Google does that is that it wants you to make sure that when you ask for a dentist, it pops up the best recommendation and match to it. And Google needs your help to actually put that data in about the client experience. How many of you realize that Google gamifies Google reviews from the reviewer point of view? Yeah. If you've left a review, like when I leave a review, I generally leave like detailed reviews with photos. Google throws up confetti, gives me bonus points for leaving detailed reviews and bonus points for photos, and I'm a local guide 6. It knows that if it gamifies doing that, more and more people are actually going to do it. So that gives you an insight into the subliminal training that Google is doing for us. So as I said, when we talk about SEO, SEO definitely has a place. All the backlinks and the organic is definitely something super important. I'd like to think of what we do as the front end SEO, which is the local search SEO, which is all about getting you into your map 3 local search. So how does it break down? Well, Google gives about 36% of the SEO to your Google business profile and about 16% of the SEO through to your Google reviews. So those two things combined, when optimized, can account for 52% of your SEO. 52%, and you can do it all on your own. So that is a massive percentage for me that you can actually drive ahead of your competitors. And the other thing I love about this strategy is that even if you're a small business, if you're a David and you're coming up against a Goliath, you can actually outperform some of the bigger guys by doing this stuff and doing it well. So I typed in this one not so long ago, dentists in Brisbane. Now, at the very top, you see the ads, and then after that, you see the local search, which is that part there where all of the maps and everything sit. And then below that, you can see the organic listings. So let me just ask you, when you look at that, where do your eyes go? Does it go up here to the top where the reviews are, or does it go down below the local search where all the maps are? Just write in the chat for me, up or down. Which one for you is the one? Now, I don't know about you, but I don't look at the ads. I think people have become so skeptical of ads these days that we just kind of bypass it and go down to the bottom. So what have we got here? We got up, 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 down, if that's the information. Yep, that's fair enough. I agree on the ads thing. Yeah, I feel like they're just paying for the real estate, so I'm not going to click on them. Down. Okay, so an interesting mix of both. So when you think about it, I love to look at buying behavior. And I remember the old days of the yellow pages. How many of you remember that not happy Jan commercial, the lady running down the street? I used to hate it when the yellow pages ads would come to me because, they always wanted more money. They would pressure sell me that if I didn't sign on the dotted line, I was going to lose my spot and a competitor was going to get it. And it was so hard to track how people were finding us. Then we moved to the digital age, which was all about click-throughs and impressions, and that was really important. But people became a little bit too clickbaity. How many of you have ever clicked on an ad thinking it was one thing, only to go there and find out it wasn't really what you wanted? Okay, so people are just naturally skeptical of ads. And so I really believe that today we're in the reputation age where people are so time poor. We just want to go onto Google and we want to look at and find, who is the best person that can help me? And that's where I want to go. And provided they do a great job of it, I'm unlikely to go anywhere else. And I found this time and time again with our clients, because I ask every client how they found us. And time again, they were saying, look, we looked online and you guys had the most amount of reviews. And to be honest with you, I wasn't going anywhere else. And that kind of really made me realize the power of this reputation marketing. So if you think about marketing the old way, like when I was talking about the yellow pages, it really is low trust. It took me loads of time, took lots of effort. I had to get graphic designers to do it, and it was all up to me. Whereas if I look at the new way of marketing as high trust, takes almost no time because it's user generated, little effort, and it's generated by my clients. So when you think about that, who likes the old way or who likes the new way? I think I prefer the new way of user-generated marketing from my clients, uploading all of this amazing SEO content to my Google profile. So I'm going to ask you 3 questions because these are some of the things that my clients are looking for. Number 1, I need more high-quality, qualified leads. It's not just about getting more leads. I want them to be highly qualified. Here's another one that's coming up time and time again. I can't find any good people to come and work. There's no good people out there anymore. That's what I keep hearing some business owners say. Or the third one is I'm finding it hard to convert. Which one of those 3 do you think resonates for you? Just you can type 1, 2, or 3 in the chat. 1 being no high quality qualified leads. Number 2, can't find any good people to come and join me, work for me. And number 3, it's hard to get them across the line. Like they're really taking a long time. So we've got mostly the high quality. 3, okay, we've got some 3, 1 and 3. Great, 1 and 3, great. The great thing about focusing on your online reputation is that it will attract, I sometimes say that 5-star reviews attract 5-star clients. So the kind of clients that you want will read about the reviews and go, you know what, I want that. I love it when a client comes to me because of Google reviews. They generally make a decision faster, they spend more, and they don't care about the competition. So that's another reason I love Google reviews. So this shift that I really saw happen was really around that pandemic timeframe when people couldn't really go out and so much searching was now done online. Here's an interesting statistic. 53% of internet users in that 25 to 34 age post a review at least once a month. And even when we went to an older demographic, it was still every 6 weeks or so. So what that's showing me is that there are more and more clients every single day that are writing reviews than they ever have before. So that makes sense to me that there are more and more people reading reviews as well. When we look at some positive review stats, 93% said an online review impacted their buying decision. 79% trust reviews as much as a recommendation from a personal friend or family, which I find is amazing. I mean, we don't even know these people, and yet we take this with such a high level of trust. But this one has also been a really important part in my business, which is that 31% of your clients are willing to spend more with a business that has excellent reviews. So I often coach my clients is like, when you get to a certain critical mass of reviews, put your prices up. How many of you like getting paid more for doing the same amount of work? Yeah. Okay. That is what your online reputation can do for your business. But let's look at the flip side here. Bad review stats. 94% say a bad review has convinced them to avoid doing business with them. 48% wouldn't even consider using a business with a ranking of less than 4 stars. And 2 out of 10 people will avoid using a business just based on a single 1-star review. Now, to put some numbers around that, imagine 1,000 people a year looked at your profile. And if I said now, out of those 1,000 people, 200 people decide not to do business with you, what would that cost your business? I'm guessing a lot of money for most people. Whether you've got a $100 price product or more, it's a lot of business. And the reason I say that is because when I'm helping clients with reputation management, when they get a 1-star review, I want them to really understand how much this can actually affect your business. And the thing with Google is that once it's on Google, it's there forever. So you can't get rid of it. So you have to protect your reputation and treat it with such reverence that it's so important that you have to protect it. And if you have to give a client $100 or $200 or something to make it right, it is well worth protecting your reputation to do that. And as Nick said, the person who is the most trusted on Google is the one that will get the most inquiries. So it's all about security and trust and making sure that your clients feel like you are the best one to help them with their problem. If you take away nothing else from today, 86% of your clients will leave a review if you simply ask. I had a friend of mine, she went to a local cafe shop and she was there with some girlfriends celebrating a birthday. And the owner of the restaurant came out and, brought them a little cupcake with a candle in it and, shouted them some coffees for her birthday. And I said, wow, that was really cool. I said, did you leave them a Google review? She said, no. I thought, isn't that interesting? You could have an amazing experience and yet people will still not leave a Google review. So you want to make sure that you're asking every client that you serve to leave you a Google review. Here's an interesting thing. Even if they're not a paying client, that's still an opportunity to ask for a Google review. If I have somebody who comes into Xenox and I just clean their jewelry for them and I make it a really great experience, I'm still going to ask them for a Google review. So for those of you that do quoting or proposals, you could still use that opportunity if you deliver an amazing Google, like 5-star worthy experience, to ask them for a review. So a little case study, one of my clients, Sarah from Ripley Vets, when she came to me, she had about 20 reviews. She was really actually at that point in time in the red. After 12 months of using this reputation marketing, this Google reviews, she increased her top line revenue by 42%. Her profit went up 30%, and she had to employ 30% more people to keep up with the extra work. But one of the things that she said to me was it wasn't just about that. Vets usually, people with pets usually go within a 10K radius of their clients. And she said what she found was that clients were traveling 20 to 30 Ks, passing 6 other vets to get to her. So she said it was almost like, it wasn't that she just got more of the pie, she actually grew the pie and got more clients traveling from a further distance. Here's an interesting one. Having a website is no longer enough. It used to be the old days where you could just rely on having a website for your business. The research shows that 64% of clients will get your contact details, like your phone number, your email, appointments, from your Google business profile rather than going through to your contact us page. And we kind of know that to be true because the more steps you make someone jump through, the more hoops they have to do, the more likely you are to have a drop off. Google accounts for 9 out of 10 searches on the internet. And there's this new phenomenon called zero-click searching, where Google knows that the clients are going to get things that they need from your website without actually going through to your website. So this is the stats here. 77% on mobile are getting the information and deciding to interact with your company without going through to your website. Obviously less on desktop, 47%. But it's still a trend that Google's very much aware of with their Google snippets, where they understand that people want to get the information from the Google search platform without necessarily going through to the website. So here's the opportunity. Focusing on your reputation will definitely drive more leads to your business and allow you to increase your prices. It'll definitely attract more of the clients that you like to work with so that you get more profitable clients and the ones that you just love to work with and that value what it is that you deliver for them. But what I love about this reputation marketing is that the extra business that you generate from this goes straight to the bottom line, which gives you more time, more impact, and more cash in the bank to do the things that you really want and spend those marketing dollars somewhere else, which could be maybe putting on a new team member. So now I wanted to quickly talk about the path to having an amazing Google review portfolio. Now, the fact that you're all here would suggest to me that you have a great product or service in what you do. I'm sure if you didn't, you wouldn't be here. But that's not enough. You need to create a remarkable client experience that goes around that. Now, as Nick alluded to, we won the My Business Awards Best Customer Experience. If you're ever in Brisbane, I highly recommend come and see the showroom. There's a whiskey and champagne bar built into the diamond shop. So when clients come in, one of the first things they see is the workshop. So they can see the jewelers crafting these beautiful pieces. And the next thing they see is this whiskey bar. And the experience that we give those clients, when you come in, it's not just, would you like a drink? It's, hey, Ron, can I tempt you with something from the whiskey bar? And Ron will go, oh, maybe, I don't know. And then so I'll go over there and I'll take the lid off the first one and I'll say, hey, Ron, what do you think about this one? Ron smells this one, goes, oh, that one's really nice. And then I'll go, well, what about this one? And then all of a sudden, Ron is having this remarkable experience. And we haven't even started talking about diamonds or jewelry. So what I want you to kind of realize is all about creating experiences within experiences. You need to incorporate surprise and delight elements. Now, I used to think that they were the same thing, surprise and delight. The truth is they're very different. How many of you have ever gotten a crappy Christmas gift? Something that you looked at and you went, oh my God, you thought that was a great idea or a great gift? That is a great example of someone being surprised but not delighted. Okay. The truth is that sometimes business owners, we give our clients things that we think is amazing, and the client gets that and they go, thanks. Okay. Classic example with these sort of things is branded merchandise. When you give a personalized gift to a client, it should be all about them and not about your business. So when we do things, we do a lot of storytelling. So one of the things that we used to do is we used to give clients a bottle of Moet when they picked up their rings. And then I really thought about it and I went, that's a case of a surprise, not necessarily a delight. Because you can go to a bottle shop anytime and just buy it, right? So what makes that special? So what we did is we actually sourced a local vineyard. It's in the Granite Belt. I don't know whether anyone knows where the Granite Belt is, but the company is called Symphony Hill. And it's got a beautiful story about being a family business. And so when we would present this beautiful bottle of sparkling, we'd put it in a nice box and bow and everything. We would tell the story about how we want to support local. And I think that was another really big shift after COVID is what people wanting to really support local businesses. And we tell the story about, this local vineyard in the Granite Belt in Queensland and the fact that we love to support local and the fact that the client is supporting local. So that had this really beautiful synergy and this surprise and delight element. Persuasive priming. Now, I know, Nick, because I do a little bit of Facebook stalk you, but I see you always at the F45 gym and I see that you're, smashing it out. I'm sure that if you were going to do one of those massive sessions, it's really important to warm up before you start. Otherwise, you're likely to injure yourself. Persuasive priming is like doing a warm up before going to the gym. If I go just quickly and I go, hey, Steve, leave me a review. Steve goes, where did that come from? I wasn't expecting that. So what's really important in your client journey experience is to let a client know that at a future point in time, a review is coming. Does that make sense? So I plant the seed early on in the customer journey experience. Like, hey, if I totally smash this out of the park, guess what I'm going to ask for? And the client usually has a chuckle and goes, Google review. So that's really important. The next one is having powerful scripts. It's taken me a while, and I didn't get it right in the beginning, but it's taken me a while to come up with a really concise script that really works. I used to love this saying by, I think it was Mark Twain, that said, I would have written a shorter letter if I had more time. Okay. Too many times I hear people asking for Google reviews and they'll do it like this. Hey, Jane, if it's not too much trouble and it's okay if you're busy, I understand. But, if you have a few moments, would it be okay if you write a Google review and post it, on our website? Would you do that? And it's too wordy. It's really about making sure that it's a powerful, concise script that gets the client to do what it is that you want them to do. Using innovative tools. How many of you ask for Google reviews by email? Anybody? Yep. Single worst way to do it. Has the absolute lowest conversion ratio. Okay. Using tools like an SMS ability, something that has SMS is much better. You know, when your phone buzzes, how many of you just look at it almost straight away? Okay. So SMSs have a 90% open rate within 90 seconds. So use that. Happiness window is all about finding the best time to ask for Google reviews. Sometimes when I'm customer journey mapping with a client, I find out that they're doing everything else, but they're just asking for the review at the wrong time. One of my clients that just this morning is a vet, and they have this puppy preschool, and he was basically asking for the review at the end when the client with their dog just wants to get out on the way out, like totally the wrong time. And so I said, okay, instead of doing it here, let's do it further up in the process here. Hey, and you know what? Let's give the clients one of those little dental chew sticks. Guess what happens when you give that to the dog? Dog sits quietly. The owner now has time to leave a Google review. So that's an example of finding a happiness window where you can actually make sure that you've got a better chance for conversion with your clients to get a review. But there might be some of you think, well, that's good for you, Karl. You've got a diamond shop. Easy for you. Won't work for me. Well, here are some of the ones that I've probably heard a few times. Well, yeah, you know, I don't have enough time. I'm too busy to do this. The truth is, anything that you do in the beginning will take a little bit of extra time. For those of you who remember what it's like to drive a manual car with a clutch and mirrors and indicators, you know, it was 5 or 6 things in the beginning, but then after a while, it becomes just this one thing that you do. The Google review strategy and the frameworks is just taking this one little thing and bolting it on to whatever it is that you're doing. And the more times you do it, the easier and faster it becomes. I don't have enough clients. One of the limiting beliefs that I find people often have is saying, well, I only serve 3 clients in a week or 5 clients in a week. The reality is that sometimes I can get between 2 and 3 Google reviews from every transaction. You think about it, I've got a couple. I asked both of them for a Google review. And sometimes I've had the mother-in-law there. Guess what? I'll ask the mother-in-law for a Google review as well. 3 Google reviews. Actually, my record, I think, is 5 Google reviews from one transaction. Okay. So just ask everybody. Not my industry. I guarantee you that if you go online and search, you'll find someone somewhere in the world that has a ton of Google reviews for their service. Okay. I'm yet to believe that there's any industry out there that this won't work for. I think Nick was saying even criminal lawyers is you know, they do it very well. B2B versus B2C. I don't believe that. I think that's a really outdated term. I believe that we live in a H2H economy. People love to buy from people they know, like, and trust. Okay. And so people, regardless of whether you get your business from referrals, I guarantee you they're still checking you out online. They're still looking out and going, well, John said he was good, but let me just have a quick look. Okay. So your marketing ROI. For me, when I look at our Google review portfolio for Xenox, for every dollar I invest in our reputation online, it returns $326 back, which is an amazing number. So I think most businesses probably from a marketing, I don't know, for the marketers in the room, I don't know, 8 times return, 10 times, 12, maybe 20, but you know, 326 is what it does for us. So I'm yet to find anything out there that we could do that's as effective as that. This is the framework that we go into a lot more detail. That don't have time for it today, but the one that I wanted to highlight for you here is all around the differentiation and the magical moments of truth. Differentiation is all about how do you make things not just 5% better or 10% better? How can you become so radically different that you become the new benchmark by which all others are judged against? So in my business, we don't only have a whiskey bar, we run whiskey tasting nights where we have clients come in and we get a guest speaker, we showcase 3 to 5 whiskeys, and it's the sort of thing that my competitors are just not willing to do. The magical moments of truth are the profound client impacts that you create with your client and your team that make the idea of going somewhere else unthinkable. So do I have time for another story? Oh, no. If I have time for another story, I'll come back at the end. So realistically, if you're not converting 5 out of 10 of your clients into a Google review, it means that you just need a better system. Okay, so 5 out of 10 is the benchmark. For me, when I'm with a client, my conversion ratio is about 8 out of 10. But I've done it 10,000 times. And so I've got some really good tactics and skills on how I do it. But most people in the beginning, when they're starting out, have about a 1 out of 10, 1 out of 15 converting. So you ask 10 people and you're lucky to get 1. Okay, so I try to get people up to about 5 out of 10. So one of the key mistakes I talked before about having a powerful script is that people don't have a great script. So who knows who this guy is? Good looking rooster. Yeah, I know, dead ringer, Ron. You're looking at me, Ron, going, he's a dead ringer for that guy. So do you think Tom Cruise gets to turn up to the latest Mission Impossible and go, Mr. Director, I know what I'm doing. I'm Tom Cruise. I'll just wing it as I go. Do you think Tom Cruise gets to do that? Just give me thumbs up or thumbs down. I would say thumbs down. Yeah. There's a reason why Tom Cruise follows a script. It's because they know that it's repeatable, it's successful, and that you're able to get the same result over and over again. And it ultimately increases the conversion ratio. So I wanted to share with you a little framework that I created. Now, again, I couldn't help myself. I called it the carrot framework, which is obviously the way you spell a carrot diamond. So when you're doing this, and this is a great one to do via SMS. And so if you want copies of the slides, I'm happy to send them out to you, Nick, to pass on to everybody. So when you're writing a Google review request via SMS, the first thing is you've got to think, who is your client? Because if I speak in a certain way to a family member, it's going to be different to a client or to a colleague. I want a little bit of an atmosphere warm up. Hey, it was great to see you on, Business Owners Smashing It Online last night. The reason, hey, I'm on a mission to get to 50 Google reviews. If you could leave me a review, I'd really appreciate it. It would mean the absolute world to me, or it really helps a small business like us get found on Google. So when you write it and then cull as many words as you can to get it as brief as possible. Okay. So, hi, I'm going to just pick somebody here. Who else is on there? So, Tiger. So, hey, Tiger, it was great to see you smashing it online last night. Hey, I'm on a mission to get to 1,000 5-star Google reviews. I'd love it if you could leave a review about what the experience with me was like. Just click on the link here. It really means the world to me, and I really appreciate it. Thank you so much.
No worries. Happy to do it. Great.
So that in a text message can be a really powerful way to do it. Thanks for playing along, Tiger. Appreciate it. So if you're ready to take your first steps in this reputation marketing, the first milestone for most businesses is to get to that 100 review milestone. Google did a study and they found that over 2.4 million small businesses across 30 business categories, that the average Google review portfolio had 73 Google reviews on it. So if you have less, like sometimes I come with clients and they go, I've got 20 reviews, it's okay. The truth is that Google wants quality, quantity, and recency. They don't want you to get 20 reviews now and then do nothing for 6 months. They want to see regular reviews coming through every week. And getting to that 100 review milestone is a really important thing. One of the things that I find is that when people get to that 100 review milestone, they start to generate a new client every 3 to 4 weeks. And when you get to 200 reviews, it's usually about a new client every week or every 2 weeks. So how do you get started? Well, the first step is to really build your Google business profile. So making sure that it is really super optimized for your keywords that you want to be found in Google for. Then the next part is to really start building on that foundation and start going on with your Google reviews to really get it to there. And then once you get the system right, is to then really accelerate it. I heard a funny interview with Arnold Schwarzenegger, and I don't think I can do the accent. But, he was being interviewed and he was talking about when he came to America, and the guy said, what did you want to do? He says, well, I wanted to be a millionaire, but everybody said that the first million is the hardest. So he said, I'll start with the second million. And the idea behind that is that once you learn how to get the first, I know it was terrible. Once you get to the first 100 reviews, getting to the second 100 will be faster. So getting to 200 is faster because you get the system, you fine-tuned it, you've worked it into your business a lot better. So the reality is, wherever you are right now, if I fast forward you, 12 months into the future, so I guess where your dreams and goals are for your reputation online, the business owners that really get this strategy and make it really a powerful force in their business are the ones who are driven to have a powerful business. Likewise, the ones that operate in that urgent and important category and just kind of putting out fires are the ones that are likely to drift and get into a place that's not really great around despair while their competitors are getting ahead. And so the business owner challenge is, how do I get onto that green line? And kind of more importantly, how do I stay on there? And the truth is, wherever you are right now on that line, the decision to jump to the green line is as close as it ever will be. And the longer you leave it, the harder, the more expensive, and the costlier it becomes. Okay. So getting onto that green line is really important. And unfortunately, too many business owners wait too long to decide. One of the things that you'll notice about those curves is that they accelerate the longer the time goes. So getting in first and getting in now will make a massive difference to where your business is 12 months from now. So what time do I have to finish, Nick?
10 o'clock.
We've got about a minute or so.
Okay. I'll try and tell the story really quickly. So I had a client that came in for me, and he wanted a ring for his wife. And I thought, well, I found out a little bit more about what was the reason behind it. And he said, well, his wife had just had a miscarriage. And so at that time I said, look, I feel like we just need to put these rings to the side for the moment. And I said, let's go over and have a whiskey. And so I take him over to the whiskey, and in my whiskey bar, I've got kind of like 3 or 4 shelves, but there's this special hidden compartment that you can push on a push panel, and underneath are some really special whiskeys. And I said, I feel like this occasion really calls for this kind of special whiskey. So, we pull out this special whiskey, and we're having a whiskey, and he's telling me about how he's going to do it and where he's going to do it. And then we talk about how we're going to make the restaurant, presentation really special. And then I said, hang on a second, I've got something really special for you. So I went out to the back, and I have these special ring boxes for special occasions that when you open the box, a light shines on the ring and just makes it sparkle like out of nothing. And so that is an example of a magical moment of truth where a client can, like, the idea of that client ever going somewhere else is just unthinkable, for what that whole experience, the behind the velvet rope. So I know I'm giving away at the end a strategy session with me where you'll get to pick my brains for 30 minutes and find out everything you want to know about how to implement this strategy into your business. But if you want to have me do a Google business audit on your profile, that's the best link to book in for me. And I'll just go through with you, and I'll show you some of the missing things in your profile. Absolutely nothing to buy on that session. It's just a value add from me to Nick and your community to kind of help you get started down that process. So I'd love to hear from you. What was the biggest takeaway that you got from today's session? So just pop in the chat. What was the biggest takeaway? So, yep, definitely. We'll make sure that all the slides get out to all of you. So just pop in the chat. What was the biggest takeaway? And there's a reason that I'm getting you to do this, and I'll explain the strategy at the end, because it's a really great way to generate reviews for your business. So the value of reviews, positive and negative. Thank you. How Google can show me my keywords. Awesome. The best time to ask for a review. Thanks, Ron. Having a great script for asking. Yep. Great thing about a script is that it's also transferable. You can give it to anybody in the team. Yep. So everything that you guys just said building, let the review, bypass without people know. Yep. Okay, great. Everything that you've just shared, hey, I'd love it if you could just share that in a Google review. So there's the QR code link. So all of the things that you thought that your 20 reviews was good. Thank you, Paul. I appreciate your honesty there. So everything that you guys just said, if you could just copy that and put that in a review, I'd love to see that on Google. Now, while you're doing that, I'm going to share the strategy and the psychology behind me doing that. If I just asked you to leave me a review, the first thing that goes through people's minds is, what am I going to say? I don't know what to say. Do I say the right thing or whatever? By me getting you to verbalize what was your biggest takeaway, you've already come up with what you need to write. And all I've just said is, hey, everything you've just said there, if you could share that on Google, that would mean the world to me. Would you do that for me? There's a real power in making it personal. By me saying, would you do that for me? It's much more stronger than if I just say, oh, would you do that for the company? So when you're doing with your clients, sometimes I'll say, like, how was everything? Was it? Yeah, it was great. Oh, what did you love about it? Have your clients talk about what they loved about interacting with you. And that's a great trigger to say, hey, I love that you just said that. Would you share that experience on Google so that somebody else can have the same great experience you've just had? People love to pay it forward. Mm-hmm. Okay. So the little phrases that I'm giving you are all about that being really tight and concise. Share that experience on Google so that somebody else can have the same great experience you've just had. Here's the link. Now, we also in our showroom have QR codes everywhere. So a QR code is another frictionless way to have your clients leave you a Google review. You can put it, I know Nick was saying before, you can have it in your email signatures, although people won't really do that. You can put it on your invoices, but the best way comes when it's a personal request from me to you. Nick, I'm right on 7:30. Up to you if there's time for questions or not, or whether I know you're on a tight time frame and I'm over time.
Fantastic. Excellent. Awesome. Well, it looks like there's heaps of value out of that. I know that there's a ton of stuff there that I learned with your information that you've shared tonight. So thank you very much for that. Anyone got any last questions? Probably entertain so one or possibly two questions before we head into the draw. All right, we've got a hand up there from Paul.
Amazing, Karl. Personally, I've got another hour if you like to continue.
I could speak for 3 hours straight.
Question you mentioned and about being a Google, when you give a lot of reviews. What?
A local guide?
A local guide.
I found this on the web.
Oh, there's Google is just answering me. Shut up, you. No. Yeah, I'm a Google Guide 6. Level 6 as well, and I find Google every now and then prompts me to leave a review places that I've just been to or walked past the front of. Does that help much?
It won't help your individual profile, but what it will help is, like for a lot of my clients, if you want to change something in your profile, sometimes it's better as a local guide if I change it from the front end than you changing it from the back end. Sometimes when you change things on the back end, it can trigger re-verification. Whereas if I change it as a local guide, Google goes, he probably knows what he's talking about.
Yeah. Well, I've just moved house and it's taken 2.5 months to get re-verified to put my correct address in.
So if we'd known each other like a couple of months ago and I did it from the front end, all you would have done is just agree on the back end. No for next time.
Right. Okay. Awesome. Thanks.
Thanks, Paul. Fred.
Yeah, just Karl, I just want to, great stuff. Like, I'm in the same game, whatever, but one of the things that I find is that 90% of small business owners particularly in Australia aren't aware that they really should have a Google My Business profile. It's imperative. Like, when I deal with clients, the first thing I do is set that up. Like, then we look at their website. It's not do the website and then go there. It's get your Google My Business page up and optimized, because that will drive traffic to wherever you want. You don't even need a website. because
Yep.
Google gives you a free website anyway when you set up your page.
Yep.
Effectively.
Thank you, Sam. Appreciate that. Thanks, Fred.
All right. Well, I think that's probably all we've got time for tonight, unfortunately. So let's everyone join me in giving Karl an enormous round of virtual applause. So thank you very much.
I think this is the correct thing for a virtual applause.
And now you do have a prize to give away tonight as well. Do you want to tell us what that is for one lucky person?
Yeah, so it's really 30 minutes of coaching with me around, creating some systems, some scripts with you. You can really take it wherever you want. It's an opportunity to kind of pick my brain for 30 minutes and just get the most you can out of me in that 30 minutes to kind of work out how can I implement this strategy? How can I improve it in my business? And start attracting new clients with my Google business profile and my Google reviews.
Fantastic. So who thinks that'll be valuable? Excellent. Perfect. All right. Well, the good news is that all of your names are in this wheel of names. So one lucky person win it. Remember, you have to be in the room in order to win it. So if anyone is left and they win it, then great news for the rest of us. We get to redraw it. All right. So let's spin the wheel. Drum roll, please.
I was saving you the crust off my pizza,
Well, let's see how well that'll do, eh? And our lucky winner is Michael Reed.
So close, Margarita. So close.
You know what? I feel very lucky lately, Nick. I have no complaints at all. I accept gratefully. Thank you.
Excellent. Perfect. All right. Well, what we'll do is
we didn't see your screen.
I've seen him there. He's there. Yeah. All right.
Karl's
So
screen still share.
we will introduce you to, we'll do an email intro for you tomorrow. So you and Karl can then go and organise a time together to go through that review. How good is that?
Excellent. Thank you very much.
And for the rest of us, what's the best way to get in touch with you, Karl?
You can either reach me on Facebook or LinkedIn or shoot me in. I put the link in there before with my Calendly link. I'll just put it in there. If you want to have just a quick chat about the Google Business Audit, that's just another complimentary thing. And just to have a chat about, whatever it is that you might like to in that space as well. But thank you so much. Honestly, for me, it's a highlight for me to kind of help educate and present with this sort of stuff. So appreciate the interaction. It was awesome. You guys did a fantastic job.
Fantastic. Thanks very much for giving up your evening, Karl, and spending it with us. For those of you that want to watch this again or missed some pearls of wisdom there that you'd like to catch up with again, it will be up on YouTube tomorrow afternoon. The link to the YouTube channel is in chat now. So now is a great time to save that chat with the 3 little dots on the bottom right-hand side. And if you're not subscribed to the YouTube channel, just go and find or click on the link, subscribe to the channel, click the bell after you've subscribed and you'll get a notification that the video is up there. Next week, we have on Mr. Steve Brossman, who is our speaker next week. Steve, do you want to give us a 1-minute overview of what you're going to be talking about next week?
I'll probably do it in 55 seconds. Thanks, Karl. I'll spend 5 seconds on you, buddy. I really enjoyed that and got a lot from it. And for those of you who will be doing that and getting lots of people contacting you, I'm actually going to help you convert them into high-paying clients with a very easy sales framework and process that you'll enjoy and they'll enjoy, and everybody's going to have a fantastic experience going through the sales process. And I'm also going to be sharing with you the 6-figure networking secrets and networking system that I used in 2021 during COVID to transport myself to a foreign country, turned into a 6-figure business without any paid ads and just with free networking. So I'm going to be sharing that next week as well.
Fantastic. So looking forward to that. So that will be next Tuesday, same time, same place. And the link to register for that is in chat now as well too. And for those of you that live in the Gold Coast or Brisbane or thereabouts, Steve's also going to be here on Thursday. And he'll be in person. So if you want to come and shake his hand, he'll be here in person as well too. But come along on Tuesday night, and he's got a ton of gold. I've spent a bit of time with Steve, and he really does know his stuff as well too. All right, well, that's our session for tonight. That is Business Owners Smashing Online. Thanks, everyone, for coming along. Look forward to seeing you next time. Have a great night. Thank you for tuning in and listening to the Business Owners Smashing It Online podcast. You can also find me on social media and online. Just search for Business Owners Smashing It Online and Nick Cree, spelled Nickcree, all one word. If you like this and want to hear more, subscribe now. Until next time, don't be a slave to your business. Get your business working for you.